then he came back, and I said, well, the hell with it. I folded up the chute, put it between my legs, and grabbed on. I said, Ben, you just gotta make a good peel lift. So I see the tree line, and pulled down and rolled, and the whole thing came up on top of me. But I got up. And about that time, the Jeep pulls up. And he said, who, that was Musquez, wasn't it? Yeah. Is he okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I didn't get in trouble right away. I went up for another job.
Yeah. Can you guys trade places?
I went to see him. I went to Montana too. I went to see him jump.
Yeah.
I took a 2-week vacation. I went to see Smokejumpers practice.
Yeah. Are you guys brothers? You guys are
brother-in-law.
Oh, brother-in-law.
Yeah, my
Okay.
wife is
All right.
My sister.
but
Yeah.
I knew him and another one about 1 year older too.
Yeah.
And when I was going with her, the other one was a chaperone.
Yeah, that works.
Couldn't go nowhere with
Yeah. Yeah. I was with them too.
So what are we gonna do, buddy?
Okay, well, we're in San Antonio, Texas on February 15th, 2014. Would you please give your name?
My name is Ben O. Musquez, M-U-S-Q-U-E-Z.
And what's your date of birth?
My date of birth is March 21st, 1931.
And what years did you jump?
I only jumped 2 years, 56 and 57,
56 and 57 from what base?
from Missoula, Montana, MSO.
Okay. And do you know that you're being videotaped?
Yes.
Okay, good. Where were you born, Ben?
I was born in up in the hill country, west of here. It's a little town called Sabinal, and I was born up about 10 miles from Sabinal. It's up in the hills. My grandparents had a ranch, and so my mother died when I was 18 months old, so they just kind of took over. There was another brother of mine and myself, and so we ended up with the grandparents and raised partially by them. That was during the Depression, and so people, they were doing good. They had the ranch and they harvested everything, but still it was kind of rough during the Depression. So after that, we just kind of jumped around from family to family, That's how I grew up, but mostly with the grandparents.
So you went to school down here in Texas?
Yes, in a little town called Sabinal.
Okay, and then did you graduate from high school?
No, I didn't. I decided to join the military at a very young age, 16 years of age. And what happened was that World War II was going on, and they drafted quite a number of young men from Sabinal that graduated from high school. And out of the war, 11 of them didn't come back from World War II. So the town, of course, being small village, they took it pretty bad. And as young as I was, I thought, well, it hit pretty hard, but I felt that there was a certain amount of honor giving your life for your country. So I thought, as soon as I get old enough, I'm going to join the Army and make it a career, So that was what inspired me to join the military.
And when did you join?
I joined it as soon as I turned 17. That was the age limit there, and so I decided to. As soon as I turned 17, I enlisted.
And that year would have been what year?
1949.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. January 19. Actually, it was 48, but they took us in, passed all the exams and what have you, and the recruiter says, I have to take you in to San Antonio for induction center. He said, but I got word that we cannot do it till January. So they picked us up January the 10th. That's when the records came up. And so I did not, however, stay with the Army. I put in 5 years and enjoyed every bit of it. But it was during that time that they made that movie, Red Skies of Montana. So I saw that and I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to join the Smokejumpers, you know. So I told my wife, we were expecting our first child, and I told my wife, I said, you know, I love the military, and but as much as I love it, I said, I just have to do this. And so I left the military with that in mind. But however, it was, I call it the long journey, because it took me a long time to finally get up with a Smokejumper.
But before you talk about that, now, what did you do in the military?
In the military, I rose from private up to Sergeant E6. And so I was, at the time, I was squad leader.
What kind of a unit?
Infantry type. And so they were promoting me pretty fast, and I really enjoyed it, so I didn't have no complaint at all. But like I said, I said, as much as I love it, I'm going to have to leave it and try for the Smokejumpers.
So did you have any parachute experience up till then?
Yes, I was with the 82nd Airborne. They call it the 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment. And I had the experience that, I forget the date, I think it was in August, but I forget the year, 53 I like to think. The military had the first and the worst peacetime military tragedy. We were flying for a maneuvers, and it was a General Mark Clark, very well-known general, and from World War II, and he was coming to Fort Bragg to view the latest, and so our regiment was pegged to put on a demonstration jump, and it just so turned out that I was in the first wave, they call it. There's 9 planes in the first wave, and then 9 others about 1,000 feet back. And I was with a company commander, our company, in the first lead plane. And we jumped out, and I'm inspecting my canopy and all that, going through normal procedures. And I looked back at the ones coming up, and I saw the second wave, the center plane, the same plane in the same position that we were, one engine was on fire. And so what they did, I'm looking at it, and the pilot just peeled off left and right to give him room enough to maneuver. But the plane was losing altitude. And so he was coming right straight at us. We were still in the air. But the pilot had to make a decision to go right or go left. If he went left, he would have been right on the road where there was the spectators, you know, down below. And so he made the decision to swing to the right. And so he missed us. But there was one of the sticks on the airplane, so I heard the story that a young man got hooked up on the webbing that we carry. He got caught in the seats, which made out of canvas and aluminum. And so the rest of the stick got panicked. And so they were pushing him and trying to get out. And so it became a mess. So the jump master came back to try to help him, but he knew that they were losing altitude pretty fast. So he goes out to the door to see how much time he had, and he saw the tree line coming up. So he pulled the reserve inside the plane, and we were already on the ground observing, and that that man just came out, the reserve opened up, which was the white canopy, and no sooner it opened up and he hit the trees. And the end of it, when they got us all together, they had a count of 19 people that got killed on that.
Went down with the aircraft.
Yeah, and so it was quite an experience, and an experience that, of course, makes a lot of people a little bit nervous and they wanted to quit. However, the regiment commander had a son that was sick with some kind of disease or something, and he required a lot of blood transfusion, and the regiment supplied most of it to keep his son alive. So after they got us back, we're at the parade field, and the colonel gave us a talk, you know, and he said that it was tragic, that it was the first ever, and he says, I know how you all feel, because there was a buzz about they were gonna quit and all this kind of stuff. So he says, I know how you feel. He said, but we're airborne, we're paratroopers, and we got a mission to accomplish. So we're all going to jump tomorrow morning. Well, what happened was that they were testing the T-10. We were jumping the T-7 at the time, and they were testing the T-10, but only certain people, certain number, a small number at a time. But the colonel at the end of the talk, he said, we're all going to jump tomorrow morning for the real, this was the practice run that we were under. He said, tomorrow morning we're going to jump for the real thing, and he said, we're all going to jump. He said, then I know you all will back me up like you've been doing with my son. And so it was very emotional, and he said, and I have a big surprise for everybody. He says, everybody's going to jump the T-10. So everybody turned from I'm going to quit to, well, I'm going to make another one if it's the left. They wanted to jump the T-10, you know. So the next day we took off. The plane got in formation early in the morning over Carolina skies. It was at Fort Bragg, and we came in for the run, and we bailed out, and I mean it went perfect. And as I recall, they reported that there was one sprained ankle out of the whole brigade, so that was pretty nice. Yeah, that was my experience with the 82nd Airborne, but like I said, much as I loved it, I just had to leave them, and because at that time, the Smokejumpers were it was a temporary summer job. And so they said, well, what are you going to do for the rest of the time? I said, well, I don't know, I'll find something to do, but as long as I jump for the summer, that'd be it. But unfortunately, on my second year,